Hey guys, what's up? We have a big old Chrysler V8 5.7 liter freaking 16 spark plug 8 coil pack replacement gonna go down today in this video. Please stick with me till the end. It's gonna be a nice journey on working on this beast. But as you can see here, before we start our little diagnostic and walk around, it's a very filthy girl. We got a rat's nest up here that I pulled off, and you can see the poopies in there. You can see that this coolant needs some TLC. Probably gonna take that out and clean it, put some fresh coolant in there. Lord knows that air filter in the cabin is done. Looking at this one up on top was filthy, but power steering fluid looked pretty dang good. Um, we came around and we're just looking at all the hoses, all the wiring. You really want to just do your due diligence. Coming from the trucker lifestyle, you want to take your time to check out every little component if you can visually, especially when everything is going good for your engine, because that'll give you a reference point when you come back and you look later and you see something dripping or maybe frayed, dried, or cracked. But rule of thumb, if it holds water, look for leaks. If it holds air, listen for the hiss. So, when the engine's idling, there's a lot more sound going on than just the air because there isn't air compression going through here like in a rig. But you can look right here and see the wiring harnesses right here, dried and cracked. So you can just see it's a common thing and not something failing or hitting anything. There's no leaks on these radiator hoses. These closed transmissions are so weird to me because, you know, obviously it's just like another greedy thing that the dealership does to get you to come back and get your transmission service there. We all know it's going to be upwards of $1,000. And then just for the giggles, I called the dealership and it was looking at over $1,300 just to get this spark plug job done, just the spark plugs, and that's not even including the parts. Um, so I can only imagine if they tossed on the coils, even though it's all technically one job. If you're doing the spark plugs, you might as well do the coils. But the coils, like from the OEM, from AutoZone, man, it's not even worth it. So when you see the prices we get buying online, we did end up having to go in person for the plugs. But right here you can see there was a rat's nest. Obviously, I don't want to get too in detail because the customer hates rats, but you can see where the rat kind of started to chew into the wiring. All the other wiring looks great, and you can specifically see where the rat was living, possibly multiple, because there's a couple little nests up in here. But aside from that, the rest of the engine block just looks dusty. It doesn't look like any leaks or any grease or any buildup has gone down, aside from Mother Nature, I guess. But when you're checking your oil, make sure you clean the whole dipstick. Don't let any dirt go down that hole if you can help it. No sense putting dirt in your engine if you don't need it there. And obviously, you never really count the first swipe of your dipstick. You gotta wipe it clean, check it again, make sure it's nice and viscous. You want it thick but not too thick, especially if it's non-conventional, which is synthetic oil. For those you don't know, there's only two types, but you want it to be a nice clear, almost light brown, um, lighter than what I had on my fingertip there. You can tell the engine's been used since the oil change. um, but there's plenty of fluids in an engine. Don't get confused, and definitely make sure you're taking the time to put the right fluids in the right holes, because I had a customer the other day that had a transmission, or sorry, oil get filled up with transmission fluid. So let's not make those mistakes. This is your brake fluid right here. There's a little speck of something sitting on top of there, but that's pretty typical, especially with how dirty the cap is. But you put your finger in there, shouldn't have any grittiness going on there, because you'd see it kind of I think it's caustic. It's a caustic fluid. It's something that degrades the longer it's touching oxygen. So it's something you replace a few times throughout the life of the vehicle. But you look down in here. There's some more little poopies from our rat visitors. Mice. Mickey Mouse was up in here. Um, But Mickey and Minnie mostly lived on the top left of the engine, and I'm pretty sure that's the cylinder one misfire code that we see later. I mean, to me, it's usually the top left of the engine or the bottom right, depending on what side of the engine bay you're talking about, because one is always in one of the corners, to be fair. Other than that, the firing order can be in different patterns for various engines, and I learned that working on Fords and GMs. But we see battery voltage high, battery voltage low later in this, and I'm just sitting here looking at all these electrical issues, thinking, okay, it could possibly just be the fact that there's electrical issues because of these spark plugs and coils not having the right powering going off. Yeah, driver mirror position sensor low, horizontal position, like literally just the silliest things aren't connected right now. Heated seats aren't communicating, the sunroof isn't communicating, passenger door module not communicating. So we're gonna take the fuse checker and go check them out. Make sure none of them are blown. But I like to record the codes, let it run a bit and see which ones throw back on after you're not clearing them to clear them and just forget about them. Record them on video, take pictures, whatever you got to do. Clear them, see if they come back up. Check them in person. Here, look at this. Look what the sun does. This piece of plastic's covered by the lip, and this is the OEM plastic. So thank you guys for watching so far. Hopefully this is a good finish up project right here. I love old engines, especially these beefy ones like this. So can't wait to make it look really nice for you guys. You're someone that just drives it leisurely. You don't want to hop in it and find an issue with it every other day. So if it only costs $100 to get a whole set, maybe a little less than two, that's a good deal, especially when AutoZone charges upwards of $400 for the full pack right now. So keep posted. We'll put these back on and order these parts. So Amazon held us down with some really great deals on coils. We got them for just under $130. And then AutoZone had to be our plug and give us the plugs. 16 of them, $7.99 a pop, brought us just under to $140, and now we're good. Dude, when I got these plugs off though, I had to run up to the camera because look at this, totally gone, totally blown away. Watch when I show the new compared to. Look at that. You can see that perfect little tip on there. Some people call it a little nip, but look at that perfect gap, and it's ready to pop off electricity. But this guy, he's been doing his job for 20 years, maybe a little less, but he needs a break. Look at how corroded and dusty the freaking yeah. But I mean, for as old and beat up as they are, look at they still got grease on there, and they were still doing their job. This thing was still starting and still kicking off the accelerator. So let's get back to work and get the rest of these out. Hey, thank you again for
no problem.
sending me a little bit of cleanup on it.
Worked out okay?
Yes, sir. Started on the first pull too.
Yeah, it's kind of a new one. The other one just blew up.
Oh, wow. We gotta hold on to these gas engines while we can. Yeah. I'm just casually off camera crying because I know this job just turned into more than spark plugs and little stuff. And I always hate coming to the customer and letting them know, hey, something didn't go the way it should have gone. So what I'm showing you here is the stud. You see where the bolt is right here, and it still has a frame. Then you look down on this other bolt, and it's cracked. I was tightening it down, the other side tightened on nice and tight, and I was doing them one at a time to make sure the plug was leveled, and it just snapped right out when it came down to snug. So now I'm looking at how tough the job is. We're looking at about 8 bolts to get the whole cover off, a whole lot of harnesses to get out the way. This one just came out of the fourth hole right there. I took all the coils off, and I don't know, what would you guys call this? Let me fix my camera. Is this oily? I mean, yeah, it's oily, but like it's not as bad as the other side was. The other side was completely doused in oil, but like with this one here, like the thread wasn't coated in oil either, but just this top part. I'm thinking maybe this one can slide, but I just wanted to note. So far, 1, 2, we're clean. 3, 4, maybe not so much. There's his buddy, but like I said, this one had some dark oil around here. I don't know why it got up in there, but we'll check the last 4. And I mean, right now, if they all come out with this being the worst one, I'll load this side back up, get it ready with the new coils, and we'll just get ready for this new part for this valve cover gasket over here. On this side was the bad news, on this side was the good news. So the worst plug we had on this side, I wouldn't even say compared to the worst on the left side. Here's the worst news. On the right side, it was literally just this one that had this gunk on top. It looks real dark and it's a lot thicker. Not gonna lie, look at that. Look at this again. It looked like jelly. You see that? You see how it sticks to me? Camera might not be doing it justice, but that's almost like a butter or a jam. And then over here, I mean, look how bad this guy. He was so bad. He sat here leaking. He sat here leaking off all the oil. I mean, even now, you can see how much more coated this one is and how fresh the oil is. I mean, this is still thicker. Like, obviously, it's been sitting there. And then even all the way down the threads, you can see how much darker the threads here are, almost black in some areas compared to a lot of these other ones over here. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the threads are dark and old, but yeah, we're gonna throw this whole side back on. We got the fresh plugs there, fresh coils. This side will be done. Tomorrow we'll come back with the fresh valve cover and get that O-ring replaced, get this little broken part replaced all in the same go. That's looking like 8 more extra bolts, eight extra bolts or so, some harnessing for all this wires. We're gonna have to take another video when my camera's fresh, remembering where all this goes back, because there's so many sensors and so many little things that go into this Hemi 5.7 block. Look at this crazy tube going into this air tank. So yeah, stay tuned. Just wanted to show off how dirty this engine was. Yuck. Can you open it up for me for the pic? Appreciate you. Can we blow that up? Thank you.
Thank you.
See, and then this is my thing too. When I look online, the vehicle doesn't have that. Do you have another? Like, is that really the only one you guys
That's all I
have?
got. Only option to carry, man.
That's the OE?
Dorman.
What? And that's weird. So after seeing $300, I ran to pick it apart, trying to make a better deal for our customer because prices matter. And taking these out, and there's only one plug on these. They're not performance, they're not snug fit, they're just kind of lightly tossed in there, only having one bolt on some of these. So I'm like sitting here like, how'd they even get it? And they're not even like connected. It doesn't even feel like there's any plugs down there. It'd be crazy if someone came to the junkyard, took the plugs out, and then put them back. That'd just be unheard of, right? So after seeing the weird Billy Bob tossed together on this engine, I decided to keep on pulling it apart, hoping this valve cover was going to be what the customer needed for their engine. Turns out God had sent some rain, so I'm standing out there in the rain thinking what I'm doing with my life. But I realize in this moment that the studs aren't even the proper studs. They're not going to hold the coils that I have. But I didn't realize that until I had already had the cover off. So by the time I get through running around the junkyard and doing all these crazy jobs, trying to find the right cover, I just give up, go back to AutoZone, get the gaskets and the valve cover, even though it's not the proper looking fit. I just wanted to try it, and lo and behold, it was the wrong one. I just ended up using the gaskets they had since it was only the plug gaskets I needed. And took these pop rods too for the hood, so I don't have to prop it up anymore. But here's the engine. Well, there you have it. Hopefully it sounded as good to you as it sounded to me. There was no more stuttering in the engine, so I'd say that misfire was gone. The engine codes were gone. Sat there and idled the engine, took it for a test drive, filled the tires with air for the customer. And like I said, I'm a one-stop shop. I'd rather get it done in one day so the customer doesn't have to worry about me coming back. And aside from waiting for parts, I'll make it happen, which means coming back at 9 a.m. Or 9 a.m., 9 p.m. to make sure the lights are off on your car, everything's cleaned up and it sounds right, ready to drive for you the next day. You don't even have to look at it. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. We hope to bring you more repair videos very soon. Bye for now.